I just want you to know the "and" in Latin America and the Caribbean is a lie. I think it's a lie because it does not allow us to have a conversation about the disconnect that happens between countries, islands that I think that have so many similarities, but the opportunities won't necessarily be as easy to explore when there's a language barrier. So most recently attending Tech Beach, and it was, the concept is great. I've had a few blogs and videos about that, but listening to the panelists, even the format of the event was a reminder of why that "and" is really hard. It's not that it's impossible, but it really doesn't exist now, because you have the guy who is part of Startup Mexico. It was so funny seeing him talk, because I remember listening to him because I have his voice as a background, trying to get Spanish in my head, and public television he was on, and then I go to Miami and he's on the stage. So insane. He was talking about how great Latin and the Caribbean is, and there's so much room for growth and opportunities. But at the end of the day, two people were to stand in front of him. I mean, both of them had great ideas, both of them had evidence of revenue, but one spoke Spanish and English and one just spoke English. Who do you think will be likely able to get his money? It's not pointing fingers, it's just acknowledging that bias does exist. And a lot of international companies, because of how small the Caribbean is, they group everything into LATAM. You have people in Mexico, in Miami, in Costa Rica, in Puerto Rico managing Caribbean profiles, but they don't understand our culture. A lot of them don't even realize that, we have different names for the same fruit. And it's not a fault thing, it's more along the lines of size, supply versus demand, because if you have to manage Mexico and Trinidad, who are you going to give more the attention to? Let's be honest.
I imagine it's the same in the Caribbean, and where everybody is in this room, corporates play a fundamental role in that tech ecosystem, right? But it's hard many times for those corporates to go outside of their hub.
So when we talk about Latin America and the Caribbean, I think it's important for event organizers, for businesses to realize that there is a disconnect, and to put things in place to allow that synergy of cultures to happen. Because moving to Mexico and speaking to Mexicans, I cannot tell you the countless amount of times that I've introduced myself. I've said, "Soy de Trinidad y Tobago," meaning I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, and the person goes, "Wow, you're the first person from that island that I've ever met. You're the first person from the Caribbean that I've ever met." So to say that Latin America and the Caribbean exist, I think we need to explore that space further. I think there's definitely opportunities, but I feel like we need to step back a bit and realize maybe we should talk about Latin America, and then we should talk about the Caribbean. So I have no solutions. This is sort of a mini rant, and I am hopeful. I mean, I am in Mexico, so clearly I have some hope. And I hope that this allows discussion, because there's opportunities for folks in Trinidad to be able to export. There's so many things that I see similarities in culture in Mexico, that our food can mix, and my mouth's watering thinking about how we can use tahini with curry. Based on a true story, I've done it. So yeah, hopeful I am, but I'm also very, very consciously aware that we need to, expand a little bit when we talk about Latin America and the Caribbean in these events. So next time you go to one of these events, maybe ask the question and start a little, conversation. Well, thanks for watching, guys.